This has been, without a doubt, the strangest gaming generation that I can remember. And I'm not saying that in a good way, and maybe not even saying it in a bad way, just maybe saying it. There's been good and bad. I think overall this year has been pretty good for the type of games that we've gotten. We've gotten some pretty good releases. Game Pass seems to be firing on all cylinders, but we're living in a world where, Xbox is no longer delivering exclusive titles for Xbox consoles. We live in a world where, we used to get a Grand Theft Auto game every few years, and now we haven't had one since 2013, and the latest one just got delayed into 2026. So that's absolutely insane to me, right? And, again, just the way that I think that affects the industry as a whole. And for me anyway, listen, I like console gaming, so obviously I'm going to hype that up and push console gaming, and I think that's, pretty obvious at this point. But the one thing that I would say is I was really expecting the console side of things to be a little bit different this year. I thought Grand Theft Auto 6 would help push the PlayStation 5 to about 100 million units sold, which is good, and we need that in the industry. We need the consoles to do well. I wish Microsoft would put a focus on their console. They refuse to do so. They do things like, raise the price, which I've never seen 5 years into the console cycle, is raise the price by $100. It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely asinine. Crazy to say the least. Now, with that being said, there is some good news from this. I want to get into it. What's up, everyone? I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews, back with another video. Make sure you guys slap that like button. Let me know that you enjoy the content. I do daily gaming content, if you guys didn't know. And so, if you enjoy that, hey, guess what? I do that on the daily, and I love hearing from you guys. So it doesn't take that much to just leave a like and maybe even subscribe if you haven't already done so. So I try to be fun yet informative. So if you guys didn't know, now you know. And again, so with the news that GTA 6 is delayed, this could be helpful to Microsoft. It could help them get something extra out. All these developers, all these publishers were holding back stuff specifically, right? Nobody wanted to announce release dates. Microsoft, we don't know what's coming later this year, really. GTA 6 delay could be great news for Xbox and its fall 2025 lineup. It could end up being a better year than what we had originally even thought. GTA 6 has finally been delayed until May of next year. The move has felt like an inevitability for some months now, especially in the absence of a proper 2025 release date or even a follow-up trailer to the 2023 debut. Still, the news has finally landed, and that means Xbox really start plotting its fall 25 lineup. For now, we know the team has The Outer Worlds 2 planned for later this year, with Obsidian's title set for a big blowout during the Xbox Direct Showcase this summer, even putting aside any potential Xbox releases for later this year. The Outer Worlds 2 will benefit from GTA 6 timely bump. The Rockstar series just kind of takes all the air out of the room, and with that title now moved on to next May, The Outer Worlds 2 will get more eyes on it pretty much by default. However, we can't say that excites us most about the delay. We're still expecting a couple of other major Xbox titles to possibly launch this fall, and today's news might have given Microsoft a bit more confidence to get some of them out of the door, like Gears of War E-Day, which has been rumored for a few times this year, although a 2026 release has been thrown around as well. With GTA 6 delay, it could give Xbox a little bit more confidence to make sure that Gears releases this year. If the game is ready to go, I would absolutely love to play the new Gears game. Obviously it's probably going to be like a multi-platform game at this particular point. But listen, I think it's pretty clear right now. It's like you not only have to worry about and plan, if you have something ready, I say go for it. Because you have to worry about next year as well now, right? Whatever you were planning to launch early next year, now I don't think you do that if you're Microsoft, right? Let's just be real. GTA is coming out next May, and the last thing you want to do is go compete against that. And so, I do think that we're in a very strange situation for sure. And when we see these types of things happening, it's easy to sit there and go, okay, well, what will Microsoft do? And Microsoft could have stuff like ready to go. You don't know. I do believe that they're in a weird situation where they have so much ready to go around at the same time that it makes it difficult, because you don't want to compete against yourself so much, but you also want to be able to have a lot of stuff to put into Game Pass that's gonna draw people into the ecosystem and things like that. So again, we could be seeing something like Gears of War E-Day. Maybe they have something totally different. Who knows? Honestly, at this particular point, it's like they've had stuff like Contraband that was announced years and years ago. We don't know what's going to come. I think that's probably the big question mark going forward, is what is Microsoft going to do to kind of get people back on board, and I think, like, obviously the games do some of the talking for sure, but at the end of the day, you've got to be able to really excite like your hardcore fan. And I think even if some of those hardcore fans are okay with Microsoft going like the third-party route or whatever for right now, I doubt that those people understand the long-term ramifications, especially of a situation where, it looks like Microsoft probably won't even have a console. But, we'll see how that works out. We'll see if anything kind of comes to pass with this stuff, and if that's something that Microsoft can kind of get people to think is okay. That's going to be a real big problem going forward. So we'll see. Like I said, we know that the way the games are made right now seems to have drastically changed this generation, but if the developer, the coalition, wants to follow in the footsteps of its previous releases, fall 2025 does make sense. Gears of War 4 was released in summer of 2015 before releasing the following fall. Gears 5 took on a similar trajectory in 2018 and 2019, and E-Day was revealed last summer. The long road home points towards a new Gears game coming out later this year, if we're lucky, plus bonus points for the Gears fans that get the reference, obviously, according to this article. There is, of course, something else in the mix that's about as inevitable as Rockstar's GTA 6 delay, a new Call of Duty game coming out later this year. Although this hasn't been revealed by Xbox yet, it is coming, clearly, and could actually be the game that benefits the most from the GTA pushback, as there's a lot of crossover between all sorts of folks that would get out to buy GTA or Call of Duty, and after a 12-year absence, you can bet that if those players had to choose one, they'd go with GTA 6 this year, which is no longer an issue. Of course, Game Pass comes into play as well. People can, have their Game Pass thing or whatever. Before you throw this one over, though, none of this is locked in. Xbox hasn't even revealed the full release date for Outer Worlds 2. They were probably holding off for some of that for the actual showcase or whatever the case may be. And we'll see if this is something that that Microsoft can decide to do something with. Honestly, I do think that it's something that Microsoft is probably going to consider, and it's something that is going to be very interesting for like gamers all around. Like, how are they going to react to this kind of stuff? For me anyway, I'm looking at it and I'm just thinking to myself, hey, anything can happen. We'll see if Microsoft decides to change things around, or if they decide to kind of get people amped up and excited about their product again. Again, I still think that Microsoft has to have something up their sleeves for the rest of this year. Hell, maybe even Sony too, and that wouldn't be a bad thing, because obviously, Sony has like that Ghost of Tsushima sequel coming out later this year. Again, I'm undecided about that. Maybe wait and see what some people say. Maybe wait and see what some reviews say. But they could have something, surprise schedule release for later this year too. You never know. I mean, a lot of people hold off, thanks in part to the situation with GTA. I know for me, I wouldn't want to, release against that game. So yeah, we'll see how it works out. And again, like I said, maybe you guys feel differently, but I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. How do you guys feel about, the game releases? Do you think Microsoft should release something later this year, or should they wait? Like, again, like, you don't want to release something next year early either, because you're going to get totally steamrolled by Grand Theft Auto. But this could be really the biggest year ever for Xbox first party releases if they do it right. Let me know your opinions, your thoughts down below. If you guys enjoy my content, like, share, subscribe. We'll rack them up, fact them up, crap gamer them up. I'll catch you next time. Crap gamer out.